Hey songwriters, this is Ari Koinuma, and today we're going to analyze System of a Down's Chop Suey, a hit song from their second album Toxicity, and see what kind of songwriting wisdom we can find in the song that we can apply to other songwritings. Anyway, so the verse riff kind of goes something like this. It goes. And so on and so forth. As you can tell, I mean, there's not much going on there. There's just going back and forth between two notes, half step away from each other. As far as, melody, there's really not much of a melody. So what is interesting about that is the rhythm, right? The consistent rhythmic motifs of that takat, 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 and that's what sticks to your mind when you listen to that verse. And when you think of a melody or whatever, a vocal part, or if there is a vocal part, anyway, a melody, you think of it as a bunch of notes, going up and down, but actually the rhythm is like one of the most important, if not the most important part of the melody. And when you have a strong rhythmic motif that sort of runs through a verse, that has the power to really make that section of the song and really sort of get in people's head and make an impression. So that's something to keep in mind when you're working on a verse or chorus or whatever the section is. That's the melody, that's the main thing in your song at that time. Have a strong rhythmic motif that it's based on. And of course you can write a good song without that, but when you do it adds to the song. Moving on, I'm going to play the chorus line. It goes something like this. So as you can tell, the contrast between the verse that preceded this chorus section and then the chorus is pretty staggering. The verse is just pound your head, kind of just beating, and then it's highly primal and it's rhythm driven. Whereas this one, the rhythm is a lot sort of more laid back, and then it's more melodic, and note wise there isn't anything that stands out. It's just kind of a C minor scale that's that sounds fairly predictable, I would say, but it's just from the shock and awe of the verse to the sort of the tragic chorus. It's just the contrast is pretty staggering, and that's what creates the drama of the song. Now, it's not always necessary to create a verse and chorus that is polar opposites in the as far as the character is concerned. But if your song is about some heavy subjects like this, if your song has big gestures and wants to have a big drama, then that is the right move. If you have more sort of a consistent, or similar verse and chorus patterns, that gives you more sense of the steadiness or just building up on top of each other kind of thing. Whereas this is more like a back and forth or just a zigzag kind of songwriting, and latter has a lot more drama. That has a little more sort of a upfront, sort of in your face kind of interest that is presented to the listener, and then it's just easy to keep their attention. So that's something to keep in mind. Is a verse and chorus. How can you make it so different and still make it sound sort of like they belong in the same song, so that the song itself becomes interesting to listen to. All right. So moving from there, so we had the verse and then the chorus, and then it goes into bridge, and then of course at the end of the song there's a really high climactic section where he goes high, and it goes into this kind of range. So that's more or less how it goes at the end of the song. But notice, he saved his highest range for the climactic part of the song. Generally speaking, it is sort of a fairly classic or established practice to sort of start the song somewhere in the lower range of your voice or lower range of the instrument, and then as you want to increase the intensity, you just kind of keep going up and higher in the range. And it's funny, the higher frequencies have more energy, and it just kind of brings the it just it sort of heightens the energy of the song. So you want to be intentional about when you go up high, because after that, if you come down, like it did in this chorus, the final chorus, it has kind of a more of a settling effect. Like you are going up there, and then these things are happening, and then you're just gonna come down and sort of land somewhere. And if you start high in a song, it might be a bit of a letdown. Of course, there are ways to make a song work like that, but what I'm trying to say is, generally speaking, starting low and then keep going higher is an easier way to make a song work and keep building intensity and to keep the audience listening. And this is an example of that, that he saved the choice notes, the highest part of his range, to the most climactic intense part of the song, and it really works here. So that's something to keep in mind. So today, for System of a Down's Chop Suey, we looked at how the verse has strong rhythmic motif. We looked at how the chorus and the verse have very, very different characters, and that creates a sense of drama. And then how, as far as like the range is concerned, starting low and then going high is a classic way to build a song and build intensity and sort of keep the audience listening. And these are all great techniques to keep in mind as we try to write our own songs. Alright, great. Thank you. I will see you next time.